back to Debate Day. Sports Radio 94 WIP.
All right, great to be with you on this momentous day in U.S. history as we debate the things that matter for Philadelphia sports, like Jalen Hurts. Excuse me?
The important things.
The important things, like Jalen Hurts' future and the future of the 76ers and so on and so on. Debates like who had a bigger crash and fall as the general manager in Philadelphia sports, Billy King or Ruben Amaro? No! Ruben, I love you, man. I love Billy, too.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right. You can have fun at my expense.
So, Rhea, who did have a bigger crash and fall? Because they were both pretty heralded GMs, and then all of a sudden they weren't.
Wow, the thing where
That's a grenade.
How do I answer this question?
I'm sorry.
Well,
sorry. I retract the question.
No. But I will listen. I'll be very honest. I consider them both very good friends.
Of course.
But I think both were hampered. In Ruben's case, by ownership wanting him to keep certain players, and Billy's, after with Larry Brown, when Larry wanted to keep doing things and it wasn't in the best interest of the team.
I see what you're doing here, Rhea.
It's a non-answer answer.
Supporting both of your friends.
I said I consider them both good friends.
No, I know. I'm just joking around. All right. Trying to stir it up a little bit.
That's good work.
I
like
stir
that.
it. All right.
Thank you.
So 8 o'clock was the debate between John and Spike on Jalen Hurts. This hour will be, in this segment, will be Elliot and I on the future of the 76ers. James Seltzer, I know you are the moderator of this debate. If you would, sir, start the
That's right. I got the hammer this time.
Okay.
So there we go. I'm the hammer for this debate here.
Okay.
All right, here we go. First, before we start this debate, let's see what the audience is thinking about the debate. Let's round out the Twitter poll question of the day. Sponsored by Armin Chevrolet. Spring into adventure. And a new Armin Chevrolet available 1.9% financing on new Silverados. Together, let's drive to ArminChevy.com. The question was, who would win today's debate
let's
on
get
the
John,
76ers?
Let's get John to answer this.
John, Joe DeCamara or Eliot Shorr-Parks, who do you think won the debate?
Who do you think the people picked to win the debate?
Of course, yes.
Man, I'm going to guess Joe wins by the people's estimation 60-40.
Hammer!
A little higher, actually. 69%.
Wow.
Ooh. Pick the hammer to come out victorious. I'm
not here to be popular. I'm here to be right.
I will. Ooh, I like that. I will say I do think Elliot is the climbing uphill one today. A little bit of a tougher side here, but we'll see how this goes here. All right, let's.
What's the question here today, James?
Let's get the debate started.
Oh, yeah.
Thought you'd like to hear this music, You
guys are supposed to stand for me.
Yeah, right.
When my song is played.
What?
I can't wait till I walk in the White House and everybody just stands because I have walked in the White House. That day will come, ladies and gentlemen.
Elliot, this is what you're up against, the delusional.
Yeah. Watching my opponent play dirty already against Ruben Amaro is, if that's who you want to vote for, go for it.
All right.
Good work right there. I like
James, you're the moderator. The floor is yours.
Okay. All right, so we will begin the debate here. Eliot Shorr-Parks will be going first. You will both have chances at opening statements and then rebuttals to what your opponent has had to say, with some questions from me thrown in as well.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah, so
James,
already.
Are you controlling the clock even though you're also the moderator?
I will be controlling the clock as well, yes.
And it's a minute and a half for the opening statements?
It is a minute and a half.
Okay.
I will start, similar to Beat the Hammer, I will start the clock as soon as you've begun speaking. Here we go. A question for today, Eliot Shorr-Parks. Your opening statement will be up first. 90 seconds. The question, after free agency is done, will the Philadelphia 76ers be legitimate title contenders? Eliot Shorr-Parks, your opening statement.
So first, I'd like to thank the moderator today for the hard work in this. Today, you are going to hear my opponent say the Sixers need to sign another star to compete. The reality is the Sixers are title contenders right now. I know that when it comes to Sixers, we're all fueled by emotion. And you'll hear my opponent say things today like frustrated, tired, mad. I understand the emotion about the Sixers. There have been very disappointing playoff losses. But in thinking about the Sixers being titles contenders next year, I'm reminded of a quote from President Herbert Hoover. Be patient and calm. No one can catch a fish with anger. Patience, calm, not using anger to make decisions. These are principles that have guided us in our darkest moments, and it's something I would ask the voters to stick with during this important discussion. Don't be controlled by anger or emotion. Instead, look at the results, because results matter. And when it comes to results, not many teams in the NBA have better results than the Sixers. What are those results? Since Morey and Embiid teamed up, they have the 5th most wins in the NBA. Joel Embiid has been in the playoffs 7 times, and 5 of those times he's advanced to the second round. The players change, the coaches change, the results don't change. Embiid and Morey are always contending for a title. Another reason to believe, Tyrese Maxey. Maxey averaged more points in the postseason last year than LeBron, Anthony Davis, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Paul George. The guys you want them to get, they already have one of those guys. In fact, only 3 teams have 2 All-Stars 30 years or younger, and the Sixers are one of those teams. Maxey is not potential. He's one of the best players in the NBA, and the results prove that. So will the Sixers add to the roster? Yes, they'll add to the roster. They don't need to. They're already title contenders.
Well done, sir. Like the presidential quotes, a lot of preparation there. All right, Mr. DeCamara. I will not call you another moniker. Your opening statement, 90 seconds on why you believe the Sixers will not be legitimate title contenders. The floor is yours.
Well, I appreciate, Mr. Seltzer, your time today and everyone listening here, and thank you to the American people. And I will ask you to vote for me as time goes on, but not now. Let me say a few things. First off, my opponent today, the person I'm competing against, cited Herbert Hoover, considered by many the worst president in U.S. history. So let's just strike anything that's Hoover-related from the record here, because that was a disgrace. Let's look at the question. The question is, will the 76ers be legitimate title contenders? I'm pretty sure I heard the word legitimate in there. Not title contenders, legitimate title contenders. I will cede the point that Mr. Shorr-Parks made earlier, that they are, in fact, contenders. I agree that they are contenders, as they have been for the last 4, 5, 6 years. I'd also say, are you better off as a fan of the 76ers than you were 4 years ago? And I think the answer is very clearly no, because they have squandered opportunity. And the squandered opportunity is part of why over the next few days with this opportunity of free agency, I do not expect a heralded NBA player to join the 76ers ranks, because I don't think they trust the Sixers, and I don't think they trust Joel Embiid to be able to go the distance. I hope, ladies and gentlemen, that I am wrong. I really do hope I'm wrong. But I know this. Elliot referenced some stats and some facts and this record and that record, and good is good. And I appreciate good. But good is not good enough. Being a title contender is not as good as being a legitimate title contender. No, they will not get a player to make them truly amongst the 2 or 3 best teams in basketball to be a legitimate title contender.
Yes, I know.
Okay, look at this. All right, I'm going to allow a response here. Eliot Shorr-Parks, a rebuttal.
Yeah, so I know he wants to play semantics with words versus legitimate, good, great. The reality is we're not here to debate semantics and to debate the definitions of words or talk about who was a great president. We're here to talk about if the Sixers can win the title. And the answer is absolutely yes. And I'll actually use, Joe, some of your own words to prove that. After the Sixers lost to the Knicks, you said they were proud of how they played, of how the Sixers played against the Knicks. After they lost that series, you were encouraged by them. You've also said they should build around Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. You believe they can win a title with them as their best players. These are words you've said, and I trust what you say. I think words matter. And for you to say the Sixers are title contenders is absolutely true. I agree with you on that. I'm happy we can be on the same page. In terms of legitimate, there are only 5 or 6 teams in the NBA that have better title odds than the Sixers. There might not be a team in the NBA with a better duo in terms of skill and age than the Sixers. Those are the results, not the emotion, not the frustration, not the semantics. Those are the results.
Mr. Seltzer, my name has been invoked. May I please speak?
Yeah, the floor is yours. You will have Elliot just took a minute there. Take a minute.
All right,
response.
Thank you. So, Mr. Shorr-Parks, thank you, sir. I'll say this. I agree with my own words from the past that the 76ers can win the title. I will also agree with my words from the past that they need help from somebody's to win the title. Shorr-Parks, sir, I'll throw it right back at you. Who are they going to get? Yes, Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey is an outstanding start to a foundation. I'm with that. That's why I will say here today, ladies and gentlemen, the 76ers can still win a title over the next 2 to 3 years. Shorr-Parks, who are they going to get to help those two?
Yeah, so I don't know if my opponent was paying attention last night, but they did add one of the best shooters, if not the best shooter in the draft last night. We all agree last year they needed shooters on this team, and they needed them around Joel. Going and adding a player in Jared McCain that was probably the best shooter in the draft, that's a good start. Who are they going to add? They have $60 million in cap space. They have 5 or 4 first-round draft picks to trade for. There are guys out there they can get. Brandon Ingram is one of the best isolation scorers in the NBA. He averaged more points in isolation than Durant, LeBron, Anthony Edwards. He's available to go out there and get. They can offer Paul George a max deal. So they will get somebody. Daryl Morey has been one of the best GMs in the league at acquiring stars. He's done that his whole career. I can't give you a name. What I can tell you is they will add, and I guarantee when they do, you will be saying they can win a title.
Let me pick this, Mr. Seltzer, moderator, if I could pick this apart one by one.
Let's keep it rolling here.
So the first thing I heard was the 16th pick in the draft. Like that's going to make a difference, to which I say...
Tyrese Maxey was 20th. I'd say he makes a pretty big difference.
He sure did, but not in year one. To which point, 16th pick, I'd say...
What you talking about, Willis?
Don't waste my time with the 16th pick of the draft. All right, that's number one. The next thing you listed there was Brandon Ingram.
Yes.
A classic example of good, but not good enough. So I will say this. Then I heard the name Paul George said, which obviously would put the Sixers closer to a title and may even get it done. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not expect Paul George to choose the 76ers. And I will cite this fact as something that seems to, I think, bolster my argument. In all these years of the Sixers process, the best player that the 76ers acquired who chose Philadelphia from the external, who said, I want to go play there, was Al Horford, who, congrats to him, recently won a championship and has been a very good NBA player. But that's not good enough for what the Sixers need. People haven't chosen the Sixers. LeBron had a chance before he didn't choose him. Durant had a choice before he didn't choose him. Bunch of guys. Jimmy Butler could have just stayed here. Didn't choose him. Ladies and gentlemen, people don't really want to be here, unfortunately. I do, but not good enough players. And Brandon Ingram, if he chooses them, is not good enough.
Yeah, that's a great line, and I'm sure all the people that are mad at the Sixers love to bring up Al Horford. Players aren't choosing the Sixers. They're not choosing teams. They're choosing money. The Sixers haven't had this much cap space since they signed Al Horford. So I'm happy you point out that the last time they did have money, one of the biggest free agents did pick them. And to say they haven't done anything yet, I know you haven't said that, but that's a common criticism. They have not been able to, unless you wanted them to trade for some of the role players that have been traded or give OG Anunoby all this money that's an overpay. I know you love Mikal Bridges, who has similar stats to Tobias Harris, but I want to go out and spend this money on game changers. And when the Sixers have money, the game changers pick the Sixers. We've seen that the last time they had money.
I'd like to say one thing, James.
One more thing, and then I'm going to ask a couple questions, and we're going to get to final statements.
I'd just like to say this. I just heard the name Tobias Harris invoked in a statement with Mikal Bridges, which reminds me of Lloyd Benson, Dan Quayle, and JFK. And I'll say this, sir. I knew Mikal Bridges. I served with Mikal Bridges.
Oh, no.
Mr. Quayle, Tobias Harris is no Mikal Bridges.
Again, emotion.
Okay,
The results
all right,
don't
let's
show
rate it in here.
Very poignant.
Rate it in. I'm going to ask you each. I've listened to both your arguments.
Can I ask a question,
Sure.
moderator? I'm sorry.
those are the rules. But
Maybe ask the others who's winning so far. You know,
Okay,
might
sure.
be that time.
Okay,
Yeah.
you think so? All right,
Let's get that in there.
But sure, John Ritchie, what do you think so far?
Can you skip me? Can you come back?
So I'm happy we did that.
I'm
Thanks for the
ready.
suggestion, contestant. Ruben, who do you think's winning so far?
Elliot, hands down.
Might be. I actually kind of think he is. Rhea, who do you think's winning so far?
yourself.
Elliot totally lost me at Mikal Bridges' Tobias
Also
Harris.
a good point.
I mean,
Also a
stop.
good point.
it's fine.
All
I'm
right.
not here to be popular. I'm here to be right.
All right, here we go. I'm going to ask each of you one question, then we're going to get to final statements. What I see is the biggest hole in each of your arguments here. Eliot Shorr-Parks, the biggest hole in your argument is you keep talking about results and citing the second round. That is not title contending hopes. The Sixers have yet to get to even a conference finals. How can you stand on this success, fifth in wins, when they have not gotten past the second round? Defend yourself.
You're right. I'm upset they haven't been to the second round. I was there when they lost that Game 6 to the Celtics, and I thought they were about to do it. But what we see in the NBA is past playoff success is not always an indication of what's going to happen in the future. Nikola Jokic had not been out of the second round besides the bubble before he won a title. The Mavs weren't even in the playoffs 2 years ago. They were in the finals this year. Prior to the Celtics winning it this year, in Boston, they were talking about breaking up Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown because they didn't think they could get it done. I am frustrated as well. I feel that emotion. But if the Nuggets, the Celtics, or the Mavs had acted off emotion, they would not have won a title. They would not be in the finals. So I don't think you can use that as a result, as a proof that they won't win moving forward.
All right, Mr. DeCamara, I think the biggest hole in your argument is the way the NBA is right now. To Elliot's point, teams that were like, are never going to win, they keep winning. We haven't had the same championship in more than 6 years or whatever it's been. The NBA is open. How do you respond to that? The Sixers have one of the 5 to 10 best players on the planet, one of the other top 20 type players on the planet, and probably will add something, whatever that is. How do you respond to the up and down nature of the NBA? And it could just be the year for the Sixers.
Well, I think it's a reasonable point, and it's certainly something that needs to be considered. I too, have referenced that before. I'll say this, the openness, which is true. Most open NBA has been since the 1970s before Magic and Bird joined it, and things started shifting that way. While true, you look at the examples cited by Mr. Shorr-Parks, those teams added players that made a difference. Drew Holiday got added to 2 different spots. Porzingis got added to a spot. The Denver Nuggets, part of why they hadn't won in those prior years with Jokic, Jamal Murray missed 2 NBA playoff runs. One he got injured in, and the next one he missed entirely. And so they were essentially able to add him back in, if you will. Again, I do not argue the point that the 76ers are a title contender. The question that was here before us today to the American people, are they, when free agency is over, going to be a legitimate title contender? And so while they are a title contender, I do not believe they will add a player good enough. It is a great theory, but it is theoretical. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not live in a world of theory. I live in a world of practicality. And that is what I will bring to you as your commander-in-chief in the year 2048 as the President of the United States. But now, to the 76ers, practicality-wise, I do not think they will add a player to make them a legitimate
Again, the
title
odds show
contender.
they are a legitimate contender. He can't keep saying that. They are legitimate.
All right. You will have your chances to make your final statements now. Mr. DeCamara, you went second with the opening statements. You will go first here with your final statements. You have a minute and a half, your final statement.
Well, the first thing I'd say is that Eliot Shorr-Parks
is driving me crazy.
I mean, what he really needs to do is...
Take caution in your tone.
All right, understand who you're talking to here, all right? All right, you're not talking to the paper boy, all right? So I'll say this. Eliot makes a lot of nice points, which is why the Sixers are staying in the fight, and I advocate for the Sixers to continue to try to charge up that hill to win the championship. It is a worthy cause to try to bring a championship in basketball to the city of Philadelphia, to the professional level, for the first time since 1983. I, too, if I were Daryl Morey, would not trade Joel Embiid and give it to try. I just don't expect it to work out. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope I'm wrong, but at this point, I've seen enough to know that I do not think it'll work. Give it a shot, but my expectations are low. That, sir, is my final statement. I thank everyone today for listening to our debate.
Mr. Shorr-Parks, your final statement.
Yeah, so first I would like to say, despite you being wrong, it was an honor to do this with you, Joe. It isn't often I get to share a stage with someone I have bigger feet than, and watching you pretend to be president is almost as fun as watching you pretend to be a Philly each year when you go to camp. So I'll end this debate by quoting another president. It's in the time of darkest defeat that victory might be nearest. We've experienced dark times as Philly sports fans. We thought the Eagles of the early 2000s would never make the Super Bowl until they did. And for much of the 2000s, we thought the Phillies would never see the postseason again until they did. And when Carson Wentz went down, we thought the season was over until a backup quarterback showed us all things we view as possible are in fact possible. Yes, the times are dark right now for the Sixers. That does not mean victory in the form of an NBA championship is not near. I'm proud to stand up here and say the Sixers have a legitimate chance to win the title. I'll never apologizing for believing in the Sixers and speaking the truth about what they've accomplished and not reacting off emotion. Joel's reason to believe, Daryl's reason to believe, Tyrese Maxey, Nick Nurse, and the players they will add are reason to believe. Do not use emotion to vote. Use results, use your brain. The Sixers are contenders in 2024.
You can't handle the truth.
No editorializing here. No editorializing. Let me just say.
Is there a penalty for that or something?
I want to give you both credit.
I know he wants to fill time with sound bites.
That was a lot of preparation. Both of you actually put in a lot of work there. Eliot Shorr-Parks quoting multiple presidents. I think the FDR quote, I believe that was better than the...
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just saw it was a president.
Well, first off, James, I've prepared zero. All right? Literally zero. Because I'm a trained talk show host. I do this for a living. I don't have to prepare for this.
Well,
and the Herbert Hoover thing was embarrassing.
It's time to go around the room.
And then freaking Tobias Harris and Mikal Bridges thing.
Stats are the stats, not emotion. Stats are the stats.
The debate is over. Enough. Do you hear the hammer? Respect the hammer. You hear what I did there? Mr. Ritchie, who won the debate?
I love what Eliot Shorr-Parks brought to that. I do think he was a learned and prepared participant who challenged and overturned some of the things Joe threw out, brought some new perspectives to this argument. I got to give Eliot a slight edge in my book.
Thank you for your vote, sir.
Rhea Hughes, who do you think won the argument?
Well, Elliot knows how I feel about the Sixers.
Don't let your bias influence
I know I'll
the
never win Rhea's
decision
vote.
who
That's okay.
won the debate.
But I will say I really enjoyed his feet line.
Yeah, the feet line was pretty great.
That he was prepared with good comebacks, and even though I don't agree with them, I gotta go Elliot.
Wow! Oh my goodness, Mr. Amaro.
Same.
Who won? Yes! Wow!
Elliot.
And you know what? I'm the moderator, so I don't get to vote. But I would have voted for Elliot also. Wow.
Someone nobody thought would
I
win winning,
totally
the
did. I
Sixers.
couldn't disagree with Elliot
This
more.
is rigged.
I think
I-
Elliot's point is completely wrong, but I think he won.
100%.
Totally
agree with that.
He out-debated the Hammer.
Agreed.
Well,
Across the board.
I'll just say this.
And people know when it's bull.
Here, Elliot, let me play your music.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Night, you can be graceful in defeat as always, Joe.
Oh, for the love of God. I'm so
Congratulations,
disgusted.
Elliot. Really.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you
amazing
having me.
performance.
Elliot, you're a pain in the ass. Get out of here.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I love
Seltzer,
this.
nice
Yeah.
job as the moderator.
Hold on, Joe's not even letting him enjoy the music now. Now he's jumping on it. Just let Elliot gloat a bit.
He clearly put in a lot of work.
Look,
That was a lot of work.
Here's my final statement on the
put so
charade.
much more work than
on
you.
the charade that just happened.
Who do you think you are?
This is my song. All right? My song. All right?
I would maybe just stick to sports trivia if I were you.
All right. 215-592-9494 to weigh in on who won that debate.